Sasuke is a very controversial character in the Naruto series, and a lot of people seem not to be able to scale him properly and list any of his fighting capabilities and abilities and go unnoticed, especially in the events that don't take place in the manga. Today I'm going to go over a list of all his abilities, scaling in verse and scaling to other characters like who I think he can beat, etc. His abilities I will go in depth. And yes, the novels are canon. They're on the canon timeline. We're going to be looking at three versions of Sasuke. More specifically, Sasuke from the Final Valley, Sasuke in his prime, and current Sasuke. I won't really talk too much on Sasuke from the last era and from the Lost era, only because he doesn't have too many fights. He does display some abilities which I'll go over, but other than that, he doesn't do too much. There's just one statement I'd like to look at. But I will be using the Sasuke novels for this. More specifically, Sasuke Star Pupil, as it does retain some information crucial to scaling Sasuke and using and knowing his full arsenal and capabilities, since he displayed jutsu that he doesn't use typically. His Sharingan has future sight and genjutsu, which also amps his reaction, perception, and other abilities, and his chakra. With the EMS, the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, he gains access to two new abilities with an added boost to all the other pre-existing ones. The two new abilities being Amaterasu, the Black Flame, which burns indefinitely, and Flame Control, or Kagetsuchi, which allows him to manipulate those flames. And speaking of dojutsu, we have to talk about the Rinnegan. Sasuke's Rinnegan is pretty overpowered, having all the basic abilities such as the Ashra Path, Naraka Path, Preta Path, Outer Path, the Deva Path, Animal Path, Human Path, and etc. With all of those, he has the ability to use gravitational and repulsive forces such as the Almighty Push and the Universal Pull, and the Deva Path also having the ability of planetary devastation and catastrophic planetary devastation, which he can use through his left eye. And he also has the ability in various forms. He has the chakra rods, dimensional teleportation. He can shoot missiles and laser beams. He can absorb chakra from ninjutsu or physical contact. Sasuke also has a handful of techniques like the Chidori Blade, the Chidori Senbon Needle, the Chidori True Spear, and the Chidori Stream. He also has purple lightning on top of that, and he also has Kirin and can coat his Chidori in Amaterasu via flame control. And when Sasuke goes both full power and full speed, he activates his EMS and his Rinnegan 6 path, and he uses a lightning cloak which buffs his speed. Yeah, talk about busted. Oh yeah, but did I mention he can fly and is a master of the multi-shuttle clone jutsu? Oh, my bad. He also has summonings such as snakes. He has his hawk summons. He has his Susanoo in its various forms. He has, and the strongest jutsu in his arsenal, he has Interest Arrow. But now we get into the actual power scaling aspect of Sasuke. As far as like where's his scaling and where he lies in like a tier chart. Well, if you know me, then you know that I'm gonna say that Sasuke scales to universal, and I'm going to break down the reasons and show the skins for why I think he's universal. At least. Yes. If you follow me for a while, you know that I'm a subscriber to the Universal Naruto. But we gonna go into that more. Yeah, well, they're just having the mini statements of Kurama easily being able to destroy the world, shake the heavens, and all that good stuff. And these statements surrounding the Ten Tails being universal and Naruto and Sasuke scaling to and above the Ten Tails, I'll keep him at bare minimum universal. Planetary if you're one of those. And in speed, well, Haku is light speed, so Sasuke would be massively faster than light. So I'd have him calculate universal with MFTO speed. So with there really not being much else to say, I think I'll go into where I think he scales in first, like who he scales to, and who I think he can beat. So, as far as who I think he scales to, I actually think that Prime Sasuke alone scales to. I'll say Prime Sasuke scales above adult Naruto before, except for like Baryon mode. But even then, I'd argue that he could possibly pull off a W if he played his cards right against Baryon mode because of the time limit and the negative drawbacks that'll happen to Naruto afterwards. And as for Final Valley Sasuke, I also think that he is stronger than Naruto. If not on par at least. And I say that my argument being that in his fight against Naruto, people will argue that Sasuke was trying to kill him, but at no point in time did he use his EMS with his Rinnegan. Even when he did his strongest attack, he didn't throw his every ounce into it. So I'd argue that he wasn't fighting with full power. Maybe killing intent, but not full power. And Naruto did the opposite.